Hey there, everybody. It's Andre, your friendly game idea guy, and I just wanted to talk about another really good RTS series that could be brought to the Nintendo Switch. Which one game out of the series is already on the Switch through a remake of a game that was remade for the PSP that is a remake of an SNES title anyway. So, I know that Square Enix are the current licensure holders for this particular series, and you've already seen the title is pitched for Switch, Ogre Battle 64. I know that Square Enix are the ones that hold the rights for this series currently. And I would love if they would work with Nintendo and go ahead and just get this series released on the Switch. But I'm just going to say, starting with Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber, because it's my favorite game in the series, and I think it honestly is the best game in the series. If you liked Final Fantasy Tactics, you would probably generally like the Ogre Battle or Tactics Ogre series. And if you like those, you probably like Unicorn Overlord. I love Unicorn Overlord. I am enthralled playing through it right now. But I also love this game. I like this game more than Unicorn Overlord, even though Unicorn Overlord is more advanced. But let me get on track here. Now, I would love to see Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber brought to NSO. This is one of the few games that you would not have to mess with your controller settings at all to still be able to play it competently. You would not have to touch your controller settings at all. You just leave the base Nintendo Switch controller settings and this game plays fine. If you have an N64 controller, this game plays fine. So you could still thoroughly enjoy this particular game no matter what controller format you're using. That said, bringing this to Nintendo Switch would allow more people to actually have access to it. Now, because I was a fan of it and I knew it was on the Wii U, I went ahead and scooped it up when the eShop was open, because I already own a physical copy of the game for the N64, and I haven't had my 64 set up in a very long time, so I went ahead and got this digital version of it as well when it was available. That's one of the few games that I said should have come to the Wii U that actually ended up on the Wii U. So that's the funny thing. So now I'm saying it again. It should be a part of NSO for the Switch. And since Tactics Ogre Reborn is already on there, they could use this as the jumping off point. Just advertise it as being related to that game, which is still highly regarded, and then go ahead and, if they want to sweeten the pot, go ahead and put the original the original Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen for the SNES on NSO, then get the follow-up, which was Tactics Ogre, put that on there, and I want to say there's one other game that could be done as part of NSO. That was I think it's the Game Boy Advance game, because there is the Neo Geo Pocket Color game that was a side story, but it's not a part of the main line, but it's still another game in the series. Now, if they were to go ahead and do a full remake of that, cool, great. If not, I mean, unless Nintendo works out a deal with SNK and they bring Neo Geo Pocket and Neo Geo Pocket Color to the Nintendo Switch as part of NSO, which wouldn't be a bad idea, you'd at least be able to have the majority of the series on the Switch available, which would be a unique position, which is a unique position, because no console so far has been able to have 80% of this series on it, and there are only truly 5 games in the series, 4 of which are the main story and one of which was a side story. So if you could have the majority of the series and potentially all of the series on one platform, like as far as like the storyline is concerned and like the events in the series, that would be awesome. And they could use, again, they've already got Tactics Ogre Reborn on there, which is one of the games. You just go ahead, throw Ogre Battle 64 on there. That would make 2. And then from there, you could just put the other games in the series in the different system categories. Because it's not like they're not available for the Nintendo Switch outside of Neo Geo Pocket Color. That's the only one. That's the only one that's not available. And who knows? Nintendo could be working a deal out with them. They worked out a deal with Sega to get Genesis on NSO. So it wouldn't surprise me if they worked out a deal with SNK, who's been releasing games heavily on their platform anyway, and go ahead and just say, hey, look, let's get these on there. And there's already a couple Neo Geo Pocket Color collections on Switch anyway. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they just said, okay, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and work out putting the system emulator on there because we already know how it'll work on the hardware. So again, smart move to do if they did it. And it's a series that, I mean, yeah, it's not the most well known, but it could use the attention. And this would be a good jumping off point for if anybody wants to continue the series or if they wanted to remake a couple of games. Because I don't think there is a main remake of the first game, March of the Black Queen. I don't think there is a remake for that one. I'd have to check again. I was just looking at this information, but I wasn't specifically looking for that. I was just looking to see what games were released, and Tactics Ogre has been re-released several times, as is. And other games in the series have mostly just been re-releases of either the Super Nintendo or N64 game. So it's basically just a series that sporadically gets attention that could do with getting more attention. And again, same people that worked on Ogre Battle, the series, worked on Final Fantasy Tactics. So there is a relation there, and Square Enix is in control of the franchise now. So it's not a huge leap. So again, this is just me saying I want to see it. I would love to see it happen. It would be pretty daggone cool if they did it. If they did it. And Ogre Battle 64 particularly was one of those games that was hard as hell to emulate. Because even when back, I say as recently as 2015, you had to have someone do a fully specialized asset packet for PC emulators to actually be able to play and display this game properly. Which is wild. So if they're not going to do an HD 2D remake of Ogre Battle 64, which would also be pretty awesome to do, if they did that, I'd be satisfied with that. You wouldn't even have to put the N64 version on NSO. But if they're not going to do that, then I would like to see the N64 version on NSO. So again, it's the potential for having this series get really big is there. And I've seen a lot of love for Unicorn Overlord, which falls in line with the type of game Ogre Battle is. So if you see that there's a fan base, not an exorbitantly huge one, but there is one that's pretty extensive for Unicorn Overlord, you could feed off of that for the Ogre Battle series. Again, Tactics Ogre Reborn is on Switch. It's on there already. Actually, it's on several platforms already, but it is specifically on Switch. And since Nintendo Switch already has an N64 emulator through NSO, it would just make sense to go ahead and throw this game on there and call it a day. Why go through having to do a full release of the game if they don't have the intention to do it? Why push the idea forward? Just go ahead and put it on the emulator that's already available. And it's not like they don't have something to work from, because they've already done it for Virtual Console for the Wii U, which was 2017. 7 years ago. So at this point, try to get more people interested in the series. And the only way you can do that is by putting it where people can find it. At least that's all I got to say on the matter. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in. If you would be interested in supporting my efforts in content creation, please head on over to Amazon and look up The Game Idea Guy Presents Gaming Word Search, and you will find both Volume 1 and Volume 2 up for sale. Thank you very much once again, and I hope to be able to create more content for you in the future. Peace out.